Okay, so again, welcome everyone. Happy New Year. This is Seesaw 101 for teachers. Our objective for this session is to learn 3 ways to view your students' work, how to approve student posts, and how to remove that if you want them to automatically be approved, how to post to the class journal yourself, and how to find, save, and assign activities. I did mention that if we do have time, then we're going to explore Seesaw as a student as well. I do have one activity on there, so you will join my class as a student so you can get to know the platform from both perspectives. Students do thrive when they can actively explore new ideas and make their thinking and learning visible. So I'm going to show you 2 different sample activities. Here's learning experience A, which is, of course, very useful for recall. It's a worksheet with multiplication problems, which we've all seen and done and probably assigned. But here's learning experience B, which Seesaw facilitates. So here, students have a math card game, 4 versions of war, greatest number, addition, subtraction, multiplication. So I'm going to show you a quick video of how this was.
Okay, girls, this time we're going to play war with 2 cards, and instead of adding the cards together, this who's got the biggest number, we're going to multiply them. And then the big number gets to take the pile and is the winner, chicken dinner. Got it? Okay. All right, here we go. I got 80. I'm the winner. You can congratulate me.
24.
35. Winner again.
32. 90.
I got 4.
90.
I'm the loser.
9. 80.
I got 20. Okay, awesome. Roller girl.
I don't have any more cards though.
That's all right.
45.
18. Okay, Grace is the first loser.
Okay, I'm not sure if I like that he called her a loser, but as you can see the difference there between experience A, which was recall, right? They had to recall the answers to those multiplication problems, and experience B, they had to do the same thing. They still had to recall the answers to those multiplication problems, but now it's being turned into a fun game, and it's something that they can experience, one with their family, they're recording, they're sharing with their teacher. The teacher's able to see if the students know their multiplication problems. And all that was done through Seesaw. So in part 1, right now, we are going to create an account and add students. As I mentioned, today's beginner course includes us creating an account. How many of you have an account already? A few of you? Okay, how many of you do not have an account yet?
I don't know if I added the students or not.
Okay, so we can go ahead and try that right now. I'm going to play a quick video for you. I actually have it stopped at a certain point, but then I'm also going to go through it myself. And just so you know, this video is available on the Seesaw YouTube channel, so you can always go back and watch it again.
Welcome to Seesaw. This video is designed to help free and Seesaw Plus teachers get up and running with Seesaw. While watching, have another window or device ready to follow along with the steps. Seesaw creates a powerful learning loop that brings together teachers, students, and families to deepen student learning. By the end of this video, you will be set up with an account and a class with students. You will also know how to use essential Seesaw tools. Let's get started. First, create an account and class. Go to app.seesaw.me or download the Seesaw Class app. Find the I'm a Teacher button here. Either enter your information here and press Create Teacher Account button, or sign up through Google by tapping here. You will be prompted to create your class. You have 2 options to create a class. If you already have a class set up in Google, click Import Roster from Google Classroom and follow the prompts. Setting up your class this way means your students are automatically imported into your Seesaw class. They can simply use their Google credentials to sign in. Or enter your class name and choose your grade level. If you teach multiple grades or you're a specials class, you can choose Other. Pause the video now to create your account and your class. All right.
Okay, so I am going to pause it there, and we're going to go ahead and create an account. So open up a new tab, and you will go to app.seesaw.me. app.seesaw, SEESAW.me. Let me sign out of mine. Okay. So now, can everybody see my Seesaw page? Okay, great. So here you have three options. I'm a teacher, I'm a student, I'm a family member. This is the same login screen that students will see once they're ready to log in. You will choose I'm a teacher. And I highly recommend that you sign in with your Google account. You are going to be linking this with your Google Classroom. So go ahead and select Teacher Sign In with Google. That will, once you click on that, it'll give you a pop-up. I chose the option where you should be able to see my pop-up on the screen. Are you all able to see the pop-up that says choose an account? Okay, good. Choose an account, then you will choose your school account. Once you click on it, if you do already have an account, it should open up the account that you've previously created. Otherwise, you should have probably just something blank and it'll ask you some information about yourself. So at this point, you should be able to start adding your students. I'm going to go ahead and play this part. This part is
Right, let's add your students. If you created your class by importing a roster from Google Classroom, you can skip this step.
So I'm assuming that all of you will be importing from Google Classroom, right? It's going to be the easiest way to do it. It's going to be linked to your Google Classroom. Unfortunately, we're not able to assign Seesaw into Google Classroom, but you can provide the students a link in the Google Classroom that they can click on, which will take them over to Seesaw. It's just not as user-friendly as other platforms yet. I'm hoping that that'll change. Okay. Any questions? Does anybody need any help creating an account? Was everybody able to create an account?
Are you going to go over importing the class?
You should be doing that right now. So when you create your account, you can go ahead and create your class. I can show you on my screen.
Okay,
So,
I had an account, but I've never imported my class, I think.
okay, so then you can click on your name up at the top and create new class right here. And then that's where you would click import from Google Classroom.
Okay.
And you will be able to choose your Google Classroom that you want to import.
Okay.
So let's say I'm going to go ahead and import my GT students. Notice it's asking me to select a grade. So my GT students are composed of 4th and 5th grade students. I can either choose 4th or 5th. The only thing that this will do is it will default my activity library to that grade level, but I could always change it. Once I'm in the activity library, if I don't want a 4th grade activity, I can choose a 5th grade or 7th grade. You know, these are GT students, or I can choose other. I will probably go with 5th grade here and then select import class. Notice it did not ask me to name the class because it's naming it the same as my GT class, but I could change that. So here is my GT Power Hour and I have my students here. And they've already been imported.
Okay. Got it.
Now, if you do want to change the name in your Seesaw Classroom, you can come right up here to this little wrench on the top right of your Seesaw account. And under class name, you're just going to click here and you can change it to anything else. GT Power Hour, 5th grade. 4th grade, whatever you want to change it to, you can change it at any time. And you can also change the grade level. If you made a mistake on the grade level, you can manage the teachers, so you can have some co-teachers on here. Notice it has a class theme. By default, I believe they're all always ocean, but you can change the theme here. It's a color scheme. So I will change it to this green color. I also have a class icon right here. So for this class, I'm going to choose the little colorful bear. That'll be our class icon. Now here under student sign-in mode, since we did import from Google Classroom, it's going to default it to sign in with Google. If you have older students, that's fine. They know their email or Google account information, which is the same as logging into their Google Classroom. They're at s.lfcisd.net. For younger students, if you prefer for them to log in with a code, then you can change this. You can change it to class code for one-to-one devices, which it would be one-to-one devices because it's distance learning. I would not choose the first one, not even when they're in my classroom. So I would choose class code one-to-one devices, or you can leave it as email, Google account, have their parents help them. All they need to do is just sign in for the very first time. And then it's saved on their device. After that, every time they click on the app, because the little ones have an iPad, whenever they click on the app, it automatically opens up to their account. It's just that very first time that they're logging in that they might have some difficulty. So that's the student sign-in mode. Here you can manage your students. So if I click here, these are the students that I have. But if I need to do something with a student, let's say a student withdrew, I can click on that particular student and remove them from the class. I can combine with another student journal. So maybe I have the student in GT, but I also have them in my coding lab. So I can combine their journals so I can see both. I can change their email or make any changes. I'll get into the family members in just a little bit. And notice your account and my account by default has a sample student. You can remove that sample student. I like to leave it because anytime I assign anything to the students, I'm able to view that activity through the eye of a student by clicking on sample student. So I'll show you that in just a little bit as well. Okay, so continuing here with the settings in the Google Classroom. Student learning codes. I'll show you where you can get those in just a little bit. Those are individual codes for the students, as opposed to giving them a general class code. When you give them a general class code, then the student enters a code and then it asks them, please pick your name from the list. So if you're afraid that the student might pick the wrong name, if they're little, or if you just, for privacy reasons, you don't want them to pick another name, then you can go with the home learning student code and give each student their particular code. But just so you know, the code is like twice as long for the student at home learning codes. The student likes and comments. So very much just like in Google Classroom, you're able to control what they can like and what they can comment right here. Enable student likes, it's disabled by default. Enable student comments, that one's enabled. And new comments require approval. So that's really nice right there. And before anything is posted, you have to view it. But just so you know, eventually you will have a lot of different approval requests there. Okay, so let me keep scrolling down. Students can see each other's work. By default, that's on. So if you don't want students to see each other's work, especially if it's, work where they need to answer questions, then you would need to turn this off. New items require approval. So anything that's posted for the first time by a student, it requires your approval before it gets posted to their journal. Item editing. So let me click here. Enable item means that the student will be able to edit the post that they're tagged in, or any posts at all. So they will have that option to go back and edit something that has been posted. If that's turned off, then that's it. Once they turn it in, they can't edit it anymore. By default, that's on. Okay, so here, enable family access. That one is turned off, but there is a separate app where parents can go ahead and download the app and view their child's journal. But you would have to enable the family access and then invite the parent. So that would be right here. You can invite them either with an email or with a cell phone, with the phone number. Enable blog. I'm not sure if everybody has these options. I believe that these are, does everybody have the enable blog?
We have it, but I don't know. Can we turn it on?
It was my understanding that the blog was a premium option, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if anybody's really going to use the blog anyways. And then folders, how to manage folders, to add folder step. I probably won't get into these until the second part of our session at 1 o'clock. So let me go ahead and exit out of here. Any questions here?
Yes, I have a quick question about the, when you were talking about signing in for the student sign-in mode.
Yes.
On the class code one-to-one devices, it said, when I chose it, it said that I could, can you set the code that the kids use?
No.
It just
No.
gives you.
It just gives you a random code and it's only good for 7 days. So after
Okay.
7 days, if they have not used the code within those 7 days, you'll need to provide a new code. But it's not like every 7 days they need to enter a new code.
Okay, so once they're logged in, they're logged in.
They're logged in, yes.
Okay, and what if they use Seesaw for another class?
They have the classes, if I'm not mistaken, right up here.
Okay,
So they can be part of multiple classes. They'll just need to make sure they select their class that they're using at the moment.
I see. Okay.
I wish I could log in. I'll try to log in under a student account in one of my devices. I'll see if I can. I'm not sure if I can, but they are able to have multiple classes within one Seesaw account. They don't have to have a separate, but you will need to provide that code for the very first time. So your code for your class will be different than my code, let's say for coding lab.
Sure, okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so this is Seesaw. This is what you see. This is what the students see. They see their journal right here. Anytime they have an activity, they'll see their activity right here. They'll see a little red bubble showing that they have an activity that they need to do. And then the inbox is for any messages and notifications. So I just created this class, but if I can show you, let's say my coding lab. I have an inbox, a number 1 here, 3 unapproved posts, so I need to review those. This class is no longer being used, but as you can see, it has 520. It can get up there if you don't keep track of those posts and the students that are sending you something. That one it was closed out for another reason. All right, so let me click here. No, not this one. This one. All right, so here, as you can see, I did post as a sample student. So as a teacher, I'm able to see what the students have posted here. And I can keep scrolling and see everybody's posts. And I can also click here to see it, to browse by date. So I have that little calendar icon right here. Oh, I forgot to mention, if I click on the settings and I do turn on the enable family access right here, notice I'm able to invite families, manage families, see the pending family approvals, family likes, commenting, and sharing. So I can either invite families now or at a later time, I can invite them right down here on the bottom right. Invite families by email or mobile number. So I can enter that here and add any other family member. So I can add the mom and the dad and the stepmom or the grandma, whoever I need to add here.
Ms. Reboyoso,
Yes.
the family or the parents or guardians that are added there, they'll only see their child's information, right?
That is correct. Yes, they will only, thank you for asking. They will only see their child's information. So when they sign up, they won't even see a list of the other students that are in the class.
Okay.
I've seen this from the parent perspective and it's super cute. My cousin was showing me my nephews and it's like all their class projects and pictures and videos and all that, they're all there. So it's really, really cute.
I've never seen it from the parent perspective. Really?
Yeah, and they're not educators. So I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool to see it that way.
Oh, that's neat. Okay, any questions so far right here on Seesaw? Getting started. Okay, so let me go back to.
Welcome to Seesaw.
Okay, viewing and creating posts. So here I was kind of getting started at this point. So here, when you click on journal, you are able to scroll and see all the student posts. And you can click on the calendar icon to view student work by date as well. So as you can see here, on the 18th, one item was posted. On the 19th, one item was posted. On the 23rd, 2 items were posted. I'm also able to click on this particular student and see all the work for that particular student. I can comment or like any student posts. Notice right here. I'm also able to edit any student posts if I need to. I can delete anything that needs to be deleted as well. I can post to the class journal by clicking add and post student work. So if there's something that you want to place inside somebody's journal, you can do that. So I can place, let's say, a welcome back type of post and post it into everybody's journal. So when the student logs in, that's the first thing they see in their journal. I notice you can approve student posts by clicking review. So when you sign in as a teacher, you will see this right down here. You'll also see it in your inbox. By default, all students can see all posts to the class journal. You saw that in our settings, but you can change that setting. So as long as you just toggle that off, then they can only see their individual class journal. And just so you know, the Seesaw website is awesome. It's full of resources. They have a whole site or a whole section that's dedicated to getting students started. So it has videos, how-to videos specifically for students. Let me show you real quick. Right here, if you scroll down, you have student handouts that will show them how to log in, how to create a post, how to respond to activities, and they're in Spanish as well for your students. Getting students started, message to family. So this is all resources for you as a teacher. And let me just scroll one more. You also have a Getting Families Started page. And if I click there, notice we have a video for families in English and in Spanish and tutorials on how you can get your families connected. So all of that will help you be able to communicate with families and let them understand why you're using Seesaw and how you'll be using Seesaw and how they can view their child's journal. So those two are available in the Seesaw app. If you just go to seesaw.com and look for family engagement, there's the Getting Families Started and the Getting Students Started. All right, so part 3 of our session today is the activity library. We're just going to look at the library, but we're not going to create any activities. As I mentioned, that is going to be reserved for the afternoon session, but we are going to get to know the activity library. So when you're getting ready to post an activity for students, and the great thing about Seesaw is that they have hundreds, actually, I believe thousands of activities already made by other educators. All you have to do is click add and assign activity. And that will take you to your activity library. And notice that we have 3 tabs on the top. We have My Library, so anything that you've already saved yourself or created, your school library, and your community. You can save and assign activities. So you can just click assign and it'll assign it, or you can save them and edit them. So right here, copy and edit activity. You can modify it to fit your needs. So if maybe that you like part of this activity, but not the whole thing, you can copy and edit, and then you can go ahead and make the changes that you need to make. That's available with certain activities. And then students can click add response in the activity tab once it has been posted for them to do in their activities. All they would have to do is click add response. And the great thing about it is that you as a teacher are able to click add response and respond or complete it as a sample student, so you can more or less understand what the students will see.
Oh, that's cool.
I know, I love that. I really wish Google Classroom had that option of us being able to go in there and see it as a student. That's the only thing, well, not the only thing, but that's one of the things that bothers me. When students respond, they do see a summary by clicking on the gray bar right here. So they're able to see who's turned it in, 0 responses, 0 waiting for approval, 0 drafts. Okay, I'm going to come right over here. Okay, so going back to Seesaw, as I mentioned, if I just click add right here, and then go to assign activity, you can go ahead and practice now if you'd like. Click assign activity. As you can see, if you just created your account, your library is going to be empty. But if you click over on community, that's where this particular class, I put it down as second grade. So that's why it defaulted to second grade right here. But you can change it. So that's where I was telling you, you can always, if you have a class like a GT class that's first, second, third, you can go with second or you can go with third, but always modify here. So you can always change here, select all if you want to see all the activities, or maybe this is for my GT class, but I want to give them something very challenging. So I'm going to give them an 8th grade activity or other. All right, so here I'm going to stick with second grade, and notice it already has it sort of sectioned here, something popular. I did put that it was a computer science class, so it already has computer science there. Trending searches, popular this week in second grade. Notice all these activities that are already on there. Featured authors for second grade, recently added, and more collections for second grade. So getting started with Seesaw, second grade remote learning activities, wellness and health, educación en segundo grado. So we have Spanish activities here as well. And notice down here, you can browse by subject. So let's say I want to assign a digital citizenship activity for second grade. I'm going to click here, digital citizenship, and it'll give me all the digital citizenship activities or all the activities that have been labeled or tagged as digital citizenship, and then I'm able to search through here. Once I'm ready to assign, so let's say I want to do this first day feelings. I'm going to click on it. And then I'm able to go ahead and assign. If I click on these 3 little dots, it's only giving me the option to print or share in this case. Sorry, I was letting somebody in. Okay, but I can go ahead and click assign. I can like it also. So I can click assign and then choose the class that I want to assign it to. So here, I'm going to choose our class, Seesaw 101 for teachers. And I'm going to assign to this one class. I can assign to multiple classes if I need to. So if I was assigning, if I had my coding lab separated by subject, by grade level, I can assign to all the grade levels if I wanted to here. I can also schedule it. So I'm going to assign it to one class. Step 1, students sign in. Step 2, students respond. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my class. Notice I have this option right here to go back to class on the top right. And I really should have read the instructions and looked at it. As a teacher, you would be looking at this activity and making sure that it is something that you like for your class. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and add a response. Notice that this particular activity that I assign does come with instructions that have been pre-recorded. This one down here does not. So you just have to take a look at the different activities. Some activities have really extensive, detailed instructions, which could be good, but it could be bad. Some students won't even read them. Some of them have a video from the teacher explaining what they have to do. Some of them have audio instructions. So, I mean, you just have to take a look and see what they have here. You can click on these 3 little dots and you can edit the activity, edit folders, get the student link. Here you can get the student link and put it into your Google Classroom. But again, it's probably just going to bring them back to, you know what, I want to say there was an update where if you got the student link and put it in Google Classroom, it would take them straight to the link if they were already signed in. But I haven't tested that out. You can pin it to the top because once you start assigning activities, they kind of get brought down to the bottom. So you can pin it to the top so it stays on the top. And of course, you can print the activity. All right, so I'm going to play the instructions right here.
First day feelings. First, click on the link to listen to a song about feelings. Then tap the Add button and find your name. Next, select the drawing tool to write your name and circle how you felt this morning. When you're finished, tap the microphone button to tell us why you felt this way. Last, click on the green check to add to your learning journal.
All right, so that's great for either younger students or students that require that extra modification. You're also able to screen record. So if you want to screen record and record yourself using Screencastify and showing the students what they need to do. So here I can go ahead and just record myself with Screencastify and tell the students myself, okay, you're going to click add response, you're going to select your name, and then you can go ahead and go through the instructions of what they need to do. All right, so in this case, let me go ahead and exit here. I am going to complete this as a student. So I'm still in my teacher account. I'm going to click add response, sample student, and then I'm going to complete it. Notice I have the view instructions right up here at the top. So if the students forgot what they needed to do, they can click view instructions and they can read or play the instructions. And they were supposed to select the drawing tool to write their name. I'm going to do it differently because, you know, students will probably ignore your instructions. So instead of selecting the drawing tool, I'm going to select the text box. It always happens. So there's my name. When I came to school today, I felt, and I will choose my answer. And then once I'm done, I can go ahead and click my check mark. And that has been uploaded to my journal. And that's it. That was a super easy activity for our students. And notice I can click on the 3 dots. I can copy and edit, post. Obviously, as a teacher, you get a lot more options here than the student. But the student, since I do have the option for them to edit, they can go back in there and edit their activity if they need to. All right, so I want you to go ahead and try adding something to your library. If you don't feel comfortable using or assigning anything to your students yet, keep in mind you can assign it and then delete it, first of all. So you can assign this activity and then delete it later, or you can create another class here and just name it sample class. I would recommend that you do that anyways to play around with it. If you did import your students from Google Classroom and you don't want to assign anything yet to your actual students, you can create a class, name it sample class, give it your grade level. So let's just say 3rd grade. And now you have a sample class that you can just play around with, add different assignments to it, and just see from a sample student's perspective what it would look like for the students. You can do this if you're not ready to assign anything to your actual classroom. So you can click here, add, and choose assign activity, and go ahead and explore the community and choose an assignment that you think you would like for your class, and see how the process is of actually assigning it. So choose anything you'd like. You can search, let's say, multiplication. You can view the activity. And if you like it, go ahead and click assign.
So you can assign as many of these little activities as you want, right?
Yes, saving to the library is limited on the free account though.
Okay.
I'll talk about that in just a little bit, but yes, you can assign as many as you want.
From the community.
Yes.
There's some really great ones here.
Yes, it has a lot, even for coding. And I know we have trouble sometimes finding some really neat activities for coding. They have a lot of nice activities. And generally in my class, I've used it for the lower grades, but there's a lot of activities for all grade levels, all the way up to 12th grade. And the great part is that it gives us that drawing tool that we currently only have with Jamboard.
I was gonna say, it's kind of like Jamboard, right?
Yes.
But there's some more features there that Jamboard doesn't have.
Yes. Jamboard's getting it, but like setting the background or adding, you know, there's just more to it. And then of course, creating a journal. period, communicating with parents.
And then I also noticed here that in that little community section, there's authors, or I guess teachers, that have created some of these activities, and you can like click on them
Mm-hmm.
and see their activities that they've created.
That's
then, like,
really
adapt
nice.
them.
Yeah, because let's say, for example, I really liked this one activity from Kim Grove. You know,
Mhm.
I can search for Kim Grove and then see all of her activities. You know, if I like her style and she teaches in Texas and she's aligned with our TEKS and I kind of like what she's assigning, I can search by that one person and see what they have in their library. So that's really nice too. And yes, they have the featured authors, but you can also search by people.
Is there a way to check to see, or how do you check to see where they teach and that kind of thing?
Sometimes they'll post it. So sometimes you can look up, like, let's say TEKS, and they'll name it like the certain TEK. And then you can see, okay, well, then this person must teach in Texas. So certain little things like that. It depends on how they label their activities.
Okay, that's cool.
Any questions on the activities? Let me move forward.
Welcome to Create Your First Activity on Seesaw. This training is designed for teachers who are already set up with an account and class in Seesaw. Be sure to have another device or window ready to follow along with the steps. By the end of this training, you'll be able to navigate the activity library, create activities of your own, know what students experience, and keep activities organized. Seesaw activities allow you to create and share learning experiences that students can complete right in Seesaw. With Seesaw activities,
So if I could just point out right here, this teacher in the teacher notes did label it with a particular, I guess, skill for their state. So that's where you can also search in the teacher notes. That's not visible to students, that's only visible to teachers.
you can share directions, multimedia examples, and templates for students to respond on. You'll also be able to add teacher notes, tag the activity to folders and skills, and share the activity with colleagues. That's a lot you can do all in Seesaw. Here's how the Seesaw Activity Library works. Access the library by clicking the green Add button, then Assign Activity. You'll be taken to My Library. My Library is where you store activities you might want to share with your class. Saving activities to My Library does not assign the activity to students. It's also where you can create activities of your own. More on that in a second. Seesaw for Schools users will see the School and District tab. That's where you'll find activities created by your school or district. All users can access free activities created by our community in the Community tab. You can search for activities by grade, by subject, search by keyword, or just browse. When you find an activity you like, you can save it to your My Library by clicking the heart icon up here. Now it's saved to My Library and ready to assign. Remember, saving the activity does not assign it to your class. You can even customize any part of the activity to meet your class's unique needs by clicking the three dots, then Copy and Edit Activity. When you're ready to assign the activity, click the green Assign button. Select the class or classes you want to assign the activity to, or you can share with select students in your class. Click Edit Students, Folders, Skills. In the Students tab, select the students you want to assign the activity to. Click the check mark, then click Assign. The assigned activity will show up in the Activities tab. Pause the video now, explore the Community Library, find an activity you like, save it to My Library, and assign it. Now the exciting stuff. Create your own activities.
Okay, so we won't be, as I mentioned, we won't be creating our activity at this moment. That will be saved for the afternoon activity. So for this session, we did learn the 3 ways to view the student work, approve student posts, how to post to the class journal, and find and save activities. Actually, I'm wrong. We did not learn how to post to the class journal. So let's go ahead and do that now. Go back to your classroom. And I'm in the wrong one. Here, You are able to post to the student journals directly. So you can come right up here, click add, and we've already gone to the assign activity, but we are going to click post student work, which is the first option. And notice it gives you the option to post anything you want here into the student journals or into the sample student. I posted this particular one just into the sample student. So whoops, this one. So only the sample student is able to see this particular post. So if I click here, add, post student work, I can go ahead and post a link and put it into all my student journals if I need to. I can record a video for all my students and post it into their journal. So I can click video. Oh, I can't do that right now. Okay, I can go ahead and upload. Just say I'm going to go to my pictures and I'm just going to post a Bitmoji for all of my students. I'm going to click the plus. Notice I'm able to add to it. I'm able to type anything that I need to type. I'm able to add pictures. So again, my camera is being used, so I can't post it, but I can click on the camera, take a picture of myself and post it on here. I can record my voice if I want to say Happy New Year, everyone. I can go ahead and draw on here if I needed to.
So
And then
like if
once
you have a screencastify video, right?
Yes.
And you can just go in through the Google Drive here and then just drop it in.
Right, yes, any screencastify videos that you want to post into all the student journals, you can do that as well. I know we can post slide presentations, but it's only the link. So I would post the link here to a slide presentation. So when they click on it, it opens up the slide presentation. So I'll click the check mark and it's going to ask me, who do I want to be able to see this? Where do I want to drop it? Do I just want to put it in sample student? Do I want it for student 1 and 11 only? Who is going to see this? So here's where I would select my students. Or maybe it's all the students in this class because I put it into the Seesaw 101 for teachers. I want all my students to get this. So then I would click here. And then my check mark. So I'll just post it in sample student for now. Or no, I'll post it for everyone. And click check mark. Now it's going to be placed into everybody's journal. And notice it says right here, everyone. This sample student posted it. And this was posted for sample student by me.
So is it kind of like Google Classroom, Ms. Reboyoso? Like if there was a student that needs maybe like redirection or re-instruction, and you just want to touch maybe 2 or 3 students this way, you could just send it to those 2 or 3 students. None of the other students are going to know, right, that they're getting that instruction, right?
As long as you have that option off where the students can't see each other's journals.
Got
Because
it.
then the student will be like, wait a minute, why is sample student have that message from Ms. Reboyoso and I don't have it? Because they can see their journal. I would personally leave that option off. I would not let the students see each other's journals, especially if it's going to be used for academic work. But yes, definitely. Same with activities. When you're getting ready to post an activity, it can be posted to individual students.
I see. Okay.
So that is adding directly to the journal. You post student work right here, as opposed to assigning an activity that they have to then respond to.
Okay, so when would you use, if I'm understanding you correctly, you would use the journal kind of the way that you use materials on Google Classroom? Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, posting student work would be very much like materials. Assign activity would be very much like posting an assignment in Google Classroom.
Okay.
Yes, something that they need to respond to and turn in. Exactly. Of course, the main difference here with Seesaw is that there is no grade book like there is in Google Classroom.
And there's no time frame either, right, for the activities? I was looking at that, like.
It can be scheduled, but not that I know of. You know what? I would have to explore that. I don't think that it can be closed out, like, oh, you only have up to this date.
Yeah.
For the activity. Let me see. I posted this.
I still like it a lot. It's.
Oh yeah. No,
a lot of, for sure.
It's great. I like the flexibility that the students can just click video and it starts recording a video. In Google Classroom, that's a little bit more difficult where they have to add an attachment within their assignment to be able to upload a video. If they have a device, they can record it directly, but if they don't, they have to save it on their.
There's that like Flipgrid component sort of, you know, where the student can record. And that's what my cousin had. Like she had videos of her child in class recording from, well, not in class, at home, right? But recording their stuff like through an iPad or a tablet of some sort.
Yes,
and
then
super cool.
as the students are completing their work, they're able to record their voice so that you can hear their thoughts. So I've had students, they'll tell me, okay, so I know that this one is wrong, and they're crossing out their answer. And I know that this one is right because of this. But of course, you have to tell them, you have to make sure you complete this and record your voice explaining so that they know that we're wanting to listen to their thoughts, to what they're thinking. But yeah, that's those features are great when the students are posting their work, they have all these tools available to them. The notes is great also for them to practice their writing. Okay, so here, let me move forward. Let me just go ahead and point out a couple of things. Most of us are probably working off the free version unless your school has purchased the Seesaw for Schools. And then there's, of course, the Seesaw Plus, which is purchased individually. So the main differences here is once we get to the premium creative tools, you can create multi-page posts with the Seesaw Plus and Seesaw for Schools, but not the Seesaw Free. And notice it says create multi-page posts, save work in progress as drafts. So I don't know if you saw that I had that option to save as a draft. That is available only with Seesaw Plus and Seesaw for Schools. But if you're on the Seesaw Free, you wouldn't have that option to save it as a draft, which works very much like in Google Classroom where you're saving something as a draft, as opposed to exiting and losing all your work. More premium activities, create, save, and share activities. Notice on the Seesaw Free, you can only create, save, and share up to 100 activities. And that's it. And I know some teachers, once they reach that 100, they'll get a notification telling them you've reached your limit. You have to delete some of the activities. So you have to delete some old activities to make room for new activities. For the Seesaw Plus, the limit is 500. And for Seesaw for Schools, it's unlimited. I think that's the #1 complaint from teachers that are on the free version. It's that once you get started with Seesaw, it's awesome. There's so many activities to choose from, but then we sort of run out of those activities pretty quickly. 100 seems like a lot, but it's really not. School-wide activity library, that's in Seesaw for Schools only. And then scheduled activity sharing. So you saw that scheduled for me, but that's only available in Seesaw Plus or Seesaw for Schools. It's not available. Oops, it's not available in the free version. And I know some schools in the district do have it. So if you, some of you might see it and some of you might not. So it just, I don't know who sees what, unfortunately.
So currently right now, my understanding is we have Villarreal Elementary School, Olmito Elementary School that have Seesaw for their campus teachers. And my understanding is that Los Fresnos Elementary School is embarking on getting the platform ready to fully launch.
And so are we.
And Palmer.
I talked to my principal. So yeah, you don't have to talk to your principal, but I talked to my principal. I went and talked to other teachers to see who was using it. Turns out, I didn't know, turns out all our kinder teachers are using it. All our first grade teachers are using it, and all our second grade teachers are using it. So that's already almost half of our school that's using it. Some pre-K teachers are using it and some upper elementary ones are. So she said that she's gonna look into it. So I'm really hoping that Palmer also gets it.
And if there's anything that I can do to help support you, let me know. Feel free to shoot me an email. I mean, this training is the first step, you know, in getting your teachers to start using it at your campuses. But if you already know that a lot of your colleagues are using it already, then maybe we can give that added little push to our admins and say, hey, look, everybody's using it. Now we need to take it up a notch a little bit more so that we can have more access, right? So any way that I can help.
Thank you. I appreciate that because like I said, the teachers that are using it, the first thing they said was, we love it. I'm like, okay, do you think you would use a premium version? They're like, yes, we've run out of space already. We're having to delete some things from our library. So yeah, I see the premium version because I'm an ambassador for Seesaw, so I've never actually seen the free version, but as a specials teacher, I do need all those multiple classes. I do need more than 100 assignments because I teach multiple grade levels. So if any of you are specials teachers or teach multiple grade levels, I know that would definitely benefit you. More things that the Plus and Schools has is access to student progress towards standards, private posts only visible to teachers, and record private notes on student work. School-wide analytics, that would be only for Seesaw for Schools. So for any of you that are in a school that already purchased it, you do have these options available to you, which is not available to Seesaw or Seesaw Plus. Portfolios follow students from grade to grade. That's awesome. Dashboard to view activity and visit classes. Data on tech usage and parent engagement. That's also awesome. And access to historic content and data. So all that would be in Seesaw for Schools. Okay, and if you do have any more questions on Seesaw, we are out of time, so I can't have you join my class, unfortunately. I can have you join if you want to explore as a student, it just won't be in person. You know what I mean? Like you can go ahead and view it as a student if you like. I'll give you the access code in just a little bit. So Seesaw does have training for teachers, so if you're interested in learning more, here are some awesome resources. Notice it says step 1. This is basically what we did today. It was our quick start. So there's a training and a checklist. Create your first Seesaw activity. That's part of what we'll be doing in the afternoon. We'll be doing that and some remote learning on Seesaw. And then there's Beyond the Basics mini trainings. So what's new with learning tools, activities and posts, Seesaw folders, announcements, transformative activity templates, co-teachers, Seesaw blogs, feedback, and drafts. All this is available here. There's those mini trainings. There's also PD and pajamas or pajama PD, something that they offer every once in a while. If you follow them on Twitter, they'll post whenever they have that. So just like trainings that you can join from home and just videos to keep you up to date. But they're really good about providing training for teachers. Any questions on Seesaw? All right, if you do want to explore as a student, you can always log out, and then log in as a student, and this would be the code right here. It does expire in 1 hour. So in this case, it would be XKYJXQ. And I do have 2 activities posted on there, so you can try them out as a student if you'd like. I mean, like I mentioned, you do have that option in your teacher account to view it as a student. But just in case you want to log in as a student and see what that's like, you can go ahead and do that there. Just pick a number. I think I have numbers 1 through 30 or 1 through 50. I'm not sure. But again, that does expire in 1 hour. So if this is recorded and being posted into YouTube, that code will no longer be available.
How do you log out?
Oh, you click on your name right up here on the top.
Oh, I see.
Click on the little settings gear and then sign out.
Gotcha.
All right, any questions? Our time is up. It's 11 o'clock. So thank you everyone for joining. But if you do have any questions, feel free to stay behind. I am going to stop the recording.
Thanks, Brenda.